Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, let me start by asking you a simple question. Are you tired of being treated like an option instead of the priority you are? Because today, we rise above average. We're not here to be seen as a backup plan. We're here to be seen as the standard, the prize, the luxury. Knowing your value and walking in it is one of the most powerful transformations you can experience. It starts from within, not in what you have, what you wear, or who you know, but in how deeply you understand your worth and carry yourself accordingly. When you truly know your value, you stop trying to prove yourself to people who were never meant to understand your greatness. You stop shrinking to make others feel comfortable. You stop chasing attention and start attracting respect. Your value isn't tied to how others treat you. It's rooted in how you treat yourself. The way you speak about yourself, the way you show up in the world, and the way you handle challenges all reflect the level of value you place on your own identity. People mirror the energy you project. If you walk into a room unsure of who you are, they will treat you like someone who's unsure. But if you walk in knowing you are a force, someone with purpose, power, and presence, you shift the atmosphere. Walking in your value also means no longer accepting bare minimum effort from anyone, not in relationships, in business, or even from yourself. You begin to operate from a place of alignment, not desperation. You start saying no to things that don't serve you because you understand that peace is more valuable than pleasing people. You stop over-explaining your decisions and start letting your standards speak for you. This mindset doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you anchored anchored in the belief that you are enough as you are, and that anything you add, skills, experiences, style, only enhances what's already priceless. Luxury doesn't scream for attention, it simply exists, and people take notice. That's how you must move with quiet confidence and undeniable presence. When you truly know your value and walk in it, you stop asking for seats at tables that were never built for you. You build your own. You stop settling for being seen as an option. You become the one they aspire to have, not because you're playing games, but because you've stepped into your truth. And when you live like that, luxury becomes your identity, not just your image. Setting boundaries without apology is one of the highest forms of self-respect. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, emotions, and peace are valuable, and not everyone deserves access to them. When you truly see yourself as a luxury, you no longer feel guilty for drawing the line. You understand that being available to everyone at all times doesn't make you kind. It makes you drained, distracted, and disconnected from your own needs. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They're gates meant to protect what's sacred within you. They are the standards you set to preserve your well-being, clarity, and focus. When you communicate your boundaries clearly and confidently, you show others that you know your worth. And when you enforce them consistently, you teach others how to treat you. People may not always like it, but the right ones will always respect it. Too often, we're taught that saying no makes us selfish or difficult, but the truth is, saying yes to everything and everyone often means saying no to ourselves. Boundaries are how we reclaim our power. They allow us to say, this is what I'm available for, and this is what I'm not. You're not being rude, you're being real. And real attracts what's aligned. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. Whether it's limiting access to your time, declining invitations that don't feel right, or distancing yourself from toxic energy. Every boundary you set is a declaration that you matter. The people who are meant for you will never be pushed away by your growth. They will adapt, adjust, or step aside. And that's exactly how it should be. Luxury is exclusive by nature. It doesn't chase, it doesn't beg, and it certainly doesn't tolerate being disrespected. When you begin to set boundaries without guilt, you elevate your life. You create space for deeper connections, more meaningful opportunities, and true self-alignment. You move from people pleasing to purpose living. You stop being everyone's option and start being your own priority. So don't apologize for protecting what you've built mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Boundaries are not barriers to love. They're the blueprint for healthy, respectful relationships. And anyone who can't honor them is simply not ready for someone of your value. To be seen as a luxury and not an option, you must elevate consistently. Growth is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Luxury isn't stagnant. It evolves, improves, and adapts with time. In the same way, you must be committed to leveling up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically every single day. You don't need to be perfect, but you must always be progressing. Consistency in elevation means refusing to settle. It means not being satisfied with just being good enough. You don't chase excellence once, you make it your lifestyle. You seek knowledge, challenge yourself, and invest in your development even when no one is watching. That's what sets you apart. While others are comfortable, you're growing. While others are distracted, you're sharpening your focus. Elevation becomes your default setting. When you elevate consistently, your value becomes undeniable. You walk differently. You speak with greater clarity. You think with vision. And that transformation is magnetic. People can sense when someone is operating on a higher frequency. It shows in the way you handle challenges, the way you present yourself, and the way you protect your energy. You become someone who doesn't just impress others, you inspire them. But elevation also requires discipline. It means choosing growth over comfort, choosing solitude over shallow validation, choosing purpose over popularity. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. Because every time you stretch yourself, you unlock a new level of potential. You begin to attract higher quality experiences, relationships, and opportunities, not because you're lucky, but because you've raised your standards and aligned with who you're meant to be. People start to take notice of those who are constantly evolving, not because you're trying to prove something, but because your excellence speaks louder than any words. You stop fitting in and start standing out effortlessly. That's what luxury is. Refined, intentional, ever-improving. It doesn't scream for attention. It commands it through presence, consistency, and quiet power. So, never stop elevating. Never stop investing in your growth. The more you rise, the fewer explanations you need to give. You are not here to remain average. You are here to become exceptional, and consistent elevation is how you make sure they never see you as an option again. Being selective with access is one of the most powerful ways to protect your peace, maintain your energy, and command respect. When you truly understand your value, you realize that not everyone deserves front row seats to your life. Access to you, your time, your energy, your presence is a privilege, not a right. And the moment you start treating it that way, people begin to see you differently. Luxury is not available to everyone. It is rare, refined, and exclusive. That's what gives it value. In the same way, You must be intentional about who you allow into your space. Not everyone can handle your light. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability, and not everyone is meant to be part of your journey. Being selective doesn't make you cold, it makes you conscious. It means you understand the power of your presence and refuse to waste it on people who don't appreciate it. When you give unrestricted access to everyone, you dilute your impact. You spread yourself too thin. You invite confusion, chaos, and sometimes even disrespect. But when you become more intentional with your inner circle, you create space for peace, clarity, and genuine connection. You begin to attract people who see your worth, not because you shouted it, but because you carried yourself with quiet confidence and clear boundaries. Being selective also means evaluating people based on energy, not just history. Just because someone has been around a long time doesn't mean they should still have access. Sometimes elevation requires separation. Sometimes love means loving from a distance. You are allowed to grow beyond the spaces and relationships that no longer align with your purpose. This kind of discernment requires strength and self-respect. It means saying no to good so you can say yes to great. It means not answering every message, attending every event, or staying in every conversation. Your energy is currency, spend it wisely. Choose people who add value, who challenge you to rise, who speak life into your vision.